Where you want to start? Okay. Yeah, I was trying to build up the energy.
I couldn't hold that any longer. I was trying to have like a stupid ass face when it started, but it's just.
Don't worry, you will.
Oh.
Default.
You talking about the video? Oh, I never even think about the video.
No, me neither.
I don't either until right now, to be honest. I was like, oh yeah, we record this.
Yeah. All right. Welcome to the All Pop No Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Opie, and I'm joined as always by Kevin.
Hola.
Alex.
Hello.
And David.
Hello.
Once again, Pete is not here. If you happen to listen to last week's, I believe he went into rehab the next day. So, from my understanding, it's at least a 1 week stint. So he will not be with us this week. I'm sure he'll have some explanation when he comes back next week, and maybe he can thrill us all with a review of one of his Predator films from his franchise. But this week we'll trudge on. We will be talking about our franchise picks this week. I got The Godfather Part 2. Kevin will be finishing off his Final Destination series, and then looks like Alex will have another American Pie.
Yep.
Third one, is that the
Wedding?
The Wedding. Okay, so it's The Wedding. Yep. And then David, you watched Skyfall.
All
right, cool. Well, those I think at least two of them were pretty good films. So and then we also got The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we got the series finale that came out last night. So if you have not watched that, spoilers ahead. And then what else we had? We had one other thing.
Mortal
that's
Kombat.
Right. That's right. You guys watched Mortal Kombat. So that will be when I will take my nap and hang back and listen to you guys paint a picture. So before we get into all that, anything outside of those topics that anyone wants to chat about? We didn't talk about the Loki trailer, which came out, I think, a week ago,
right.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
We just rewatched it here at our house today because the kids didn't know one was out. So let's chat about that real quick. I mean, kind of lays out what the show might look like. Looks different than anything else that they put out so far, it's interesting to see the way they are telling this story as far as what he basically has to fix this problem that he created, and Owen Wilson is like his keeper or his handler or something. It's just it's interesting. It's different,
Yeah.
So what do you guys think, Alex?
It looks interesting. I mean, I'm excited that Marvel is continuing to explore kind of the weirder side of things. I think movies like Guardians and Doctor Strange, having those be such big hits, kind of gave them a little bit more license to kind of dig into this kind of stuff. Because I feel like Phase 1 and 2 Marvel probably would have been a little bit more reluctant. But like since those movies and those characters have gotten so popular over the years, they're able to do some interesting things. And Loki, he rules. He's a cool character. He's fun to watch, and I'm excited to see more of him. Even though it's old Loki, even though arguably that's more fun to watch. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Old Loki? What do you mean?
Well, he's Loki pre, like Thor: Dark World.
Oh yeah,
Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Like because that Loki's
He's from
dead.
the Avengers, so like he's the first Loki we saw, right? I mean,
that's
the
true.
first
Yeah,
time.
That's true.
Besides Thor 1.
That's right. Yeah, he
Thor,
wasn't Thor. That's right.
Recently pounded into the floor by the Hulk. Loki.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
really recently.
Yeah,
But it looks like
immediately
from the trailers, they're going to show him the timeline that the other Loki continued to live and kind of be like, this is where you ended up. Like,
it'll be like the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future kind of shit.
It'll be interesting to see how he responds to that. Because
there's
that one. That's the only one that's gonna have more than one season, right?
I believe that one's the only one confirmed to have a season 2 at the moment.
Okay. Yeah. There's that shot in there too where it looks like he's sitting there with Black Widow. It's interesting.
Yeah.
At the end of that trailer.
Yeah,
it looks like they're on Boromir, and
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to see if that's actually her and all that.
Yeah, people have tons of speculations about that one shot because she looks like Avengers 1 Black Widow, and the time that she died, she doesn't look like that anymore. So it'll be it'll be interesting to see.
So, all right. Anyone else?
Well, I don't know. You got anything on it, David?
I actually don't think I've even seen it. So,
you should check it out. It's pretty good.
It's about Loki.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, that'd be the other thing too. You know, it definitely lends the opportunity of cameos.
Yeah.
You know, so and I would imagine that in a situation like that where, you know, it's like maybe a couple days work for, you know, an actor as a cameo, that it wouldn't be that hard to greenlight, and I couldn't imagine any of them that would say no, you know, just based off the relationship. So that'd be kind of cool.
It'd be like that scene in Thor. No one remembers the movie, but in Thor: Dark World when Loki turns into Captain America for like 5 seconds and mocks Thor.
Yeah,
like
I totally remember
Chris
that.
Evans probably worked for an hour.
Movie.
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's not bad.
Speaking of Marvel trailers, did you guys watch the Shang-Chi teaser?
You got it.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think I sent that to the group.
Did you?
Yeah. That was, I mean, not knowing anything about the character and the story, like, again, it's kind of like, you know, have no idea what it's going to be, but the trailer looked cool. I mean, it looked entertaining enough for sure. Would be curious to see how they, you know, where does it fit into the MCU is like my biggest question is like, how do they make any mention as far as a link, or is it just its own standalone for now and then maybe he'll show up later, you know? So
it ought to tie back into the first Iron Man at least a little bit.
Yeah, it's linked automatically to a lot of Iron Man movies because Ten Rings shows up in a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
In some fashion.
This one will have the actual Mandarin. And there's I read a thing too that said the dude that's playing Shang-Chi, they said he's got like the fastest hands in movies since like Bruce Lee. That he's just a total badass. Yeah. So cool. I heard that and I was like, I'm down. Like I want to see what, you know, how badass this guy really is. But it looks good. It looks fun.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So
all right. Well then I guess we should probably talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier first, before we do our franchises.
No, did we want to cover just the things we watched this week?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Did you have something, David?
Yeah, I got a couple different.
Feel like he does.
Yeah, he's like, guys, don't forget me, guys.
Yeah, well, I always forget because I basically don't. I mean, nothing new, but.
Well, there you go. You're done. So cool.
We get but no. Then when we get on to tangents, I forget that we were even talking about that. I'm like, that's right. So,
where am I?
Back to the show.
Yeah, so I watched the movie Synchronic. I guess it came out in like 2019, and Netflix just picked it up and then put it out. And it stars Anthony Mackie as a ambulance driver. And he, you know, has an okay life, and then he finds out one day that he has a brain tumor and that there's nothing they can do about it, and that he's gonna have to go on like radio. Jeez, man, I can't say anything today. Like chemotherapy, but the radiation kind, and
radiation therapy.
Yeah, sure. Let's call it that. I don't know what it's actually. It's got a term, and I can't think of what it is. And anyways, there's also, as they're doing their job, they keep finding all these people freaked out on this new synthetic drug called Synchronic, and then it actually causes his partner's daughter to disappear entirely.
Like physically just like vanished,
just like gone. And so he comes to find out, he finds it, he buys up a bunch because he's just going to get rid of it so that people stop using it and stop dying. And he comes across the chemist who created it. And the chemist says that it actually causes you to travel through time. And that in kids, because this certain part of their brain is still malleable, they can get trapped in time. And so
it's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, right. But it just so happens that the tumor that he has in his brain is in that exact same spot, making it so that he can also go back in time and stay there. So
Lucky.
He starts experimenting with the drug to see what happens, and he travels through time and figures out all the rules and all of that stuff. And then eventually
in about 90 minutes or so.
Yeah. and then he goes and then he saves the girl, and in the end he gets her back, but he's unable to get back, and he's trapped, lost in time. And that's the film. I've ruined it for you, but honestly, you didn't miss anything.
It didn't sound like it.
It just felt clumsily directed. It wasn't as interesting as it looked like it could have been. It had a great trailer, so you were like, yeah, okay, man, this looks really neat. And
one of those.
Yeah.
One of those.
It didn't quite do it for me.
They got me again.
God damn you, Netflix.
I wouldn't say don't watch it. I just would say if you do watch it, don't expect too much.
Well, you mean I know everything that's going to happen now, so I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I can't expect anything. I actually expect it all. I expect what you told me.
In a week, and then.
But then I'll listen back and I'll remember it again. So you got.
I forget this conversation in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I also watched the Liam Neeson film Cold Pursuit.
Is that Taken 4?
Taken in the snow?
Yeah, Taken 9.
Snow.
Yeah.
That's what I would have described it as. Although, like, he's not, I don't know how to describe
young, physically agile.
Definitely not young.
Doesn't do any of his own stunts.
Yeah. Not collecting
really
Social Security.
Once you see the film, like he doesn't usually do anything physical. But yeah, it was pretty good. If you like the Taken kind of movies, this one had a bit of a sense of humor. It could have been way better if someone else had directed it, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of potential there that is wasted. The villain is ridiculous. Like,
who plays the villain?
I don't know. Some guy. I don't.
It wasn't. I didn't know if maybe it's some.
No one that I remembered.
He's like, no, I went on IMDb. His name's some guy.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
I'm
interested in. And he was so bad, so very bad, and he just drug the film down. It did have one really great little quirk to it, though. Every time someone died, which was often in this film, the screen would go black and it would throw up a little death card, the name of the person, their nickname, and then like a little symbol and like rest in peace or some slogan or something like that. So it was really funny because it happened all the time because the film just paused.
Oh, is it supposed to be a comedy?
Oh, yeah.
Is it like an action comedy that like Snatch is an action comedy?
I mean, yeah, I guess it is, yeah.
Okay, is it supposed to be? I
don't know. I mean,
okay.
I guess it has to be. These title cards can't be anything but.
Well, fun. Liam Neeson isn't known for his comedy chops,
yeah.
So it's like I'm just curious to see if that.
Wait, was it Liam Neeson or Leslie Nielsen?
It was definitely Liam Neeson. He's very monotone. There's not a lot of personality there. He's just
I've seen his films.
Sounds
I was
right.
gonna say I have to assume it's actually Liam.
So
Neeson.
He's playing the type. I gotcha. He's playing the type.
Maybe they were like,
but a little bit older this time, and in the snow.
Of the movie, and it wasn't supposed to be a comedy, but they're like, bro, we got to do something.
I'm gonna liven this
maybe
up.
That's what they did. Yeah, maybe they were like, okay, this works better as a comedy. Let's put this in.
This is just him on vacation. They're just filming him on vacation. This is just real life.
It's actually the B-roll from that Wolf movie he did.
Yeah.
All right. Well, David, it sounds like you had a Kevin's pick this week.
Oh yeah. I was watching
films.
Fun stuff.
Anything else? Did you round anything?
We started to watch the movie or the show Mayor of Easttown on.
Oh yeah,
I want to watch that.
Me and the wife we just watched the first episode.
Yeah, we got about
Kate
3/4
Winslet.
of the way through it, and it was good. And then my daughter came in and forced us off to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So,
is that back?
Wow.
No, just
I just about fucking freaked out. I was like, I'm leaving. Like,
no, I don't know.
I gotta go. I gotta go.
I want to say June, but
yeah, that sounds right.
Is it the last season?
It is.
Yeah.
I think because we used to watch that and liked it, and then I don't remember why we stopped. I think something happened where you didn't have access to it or whatever.
Well, switch networks. So
yeah,
that might have been it.
Because it got
or
canceled.
maybe we did. Oh, maybe when it came back, we didn't know it. It had come back after a while, and we already moved on.
Yeah,
but that'd probably be when I'd go back and rewatch it from the beginning. Now, just wait for the last season.
It holds up, man. We just started watching again from the beginning, and it definitely holds up. It's funny every time.
Yeah, it's a good.
All right, cool. All right. If that's it, Alex, did you watch anything? No.
Yeah. I don't think I said Sam and I finished Letterkenny, so we're done with that.
You're almost done last time you were.
Oh yeah, we were almost done.
Close.
That's right. Yeah, so we're done, and that's Letterkenny. I've talked about it 1,000 times. Although it was really sweet. It was like maybe 4 or 5 days after we had finished, and she was like, "I kind of miss watching Letterkenny," and I was like, "We can start again. It'll be number 4 for me. I'm fine with that."
Yeah, that's
so we haven't yet, but we may. Just like it's such a nice, like at the end of the night, like 26-minute like kind of wind down thing, and then you're just done. It's like it's such an easy show to digest. But
it's actually I'm finding that with the Arrested Development as well. Very similar. They're like 22, 23-minute episodes. The just the randomness and stuff kind of just keeps you engaged, and it's just how funny it is. So
yeah.
I love Arrested Development, but it puts my wife to sleep at night.
Yeah.
Like, we watch it late at night because it's narrated. Anything that's narrated, she just like, boom. Like someone's reading her a lullaby.
Telling her a bedtime story.
Yeah.
Dropped out. Yeah.
I can understand that. Narration sometimes gets to me as well. Yeah. I'm just like, just let me watch. I can probably figure it out. Like you don't need to talk. Like it's all good.
Yeah, I got this.
For a Wang Down show, she would just be done. Like she would be like asleep on the couch.
And the other thing that we started watching at Sam's behest, she wanted to start a new show, and she picked this one, and I was like, "Cool, let's check it out." Is something called Shadow and Bone? Has anyone?
Oh yeah, that just came out. Like
just
this week,
came
right?
out. Yeah, it's extra new. Like it just came out.
It's pretty hyped up.
It's on Netflix. Apparently, it's a book series, just like every other fucking thing these days. That's pretty popular, and now they made a show out of it, just like everything else these days. Oh shit! My Adobe just tried to start updating on me. Oh god. Okay, I'm back. But anyways, Shadow and Bone.
Oh no!
And then I'm gone.
He just freezes.
That'd be hilarious. Yeah, you freeze like this.
But yeah, so that's Shadow and Bone. No, it's a kind of a dark fantasy, not like super fantasy, like it's a little more modern than that. Like they have like rifles and pistols and stuff, but it's still like
they're on like pirate ships and shit or something, aren't they?
Yeah, kind of. It's very hard to explain. Also, because it's kind of hard to understand what the hell's going on at this point. We've watched 3 episodes. Basically, it's a world like any other fantasy world where it's split into different kingdoms. They all hate each other. The twist to this show is that there are basically special people who just think of Avatar, The Last Airbender, that version, like firebenders and windbenders, and like they can control elements essentially. But there's a couple of other different ones like shadow and light and other things like that. So they're special people. And the world is separated by this big black storm that like separates the kingdoms, and sailing through it is nearly impossible. Like some people have done it, but it's like infested with monsters. And the main character, and you get this from the trailer if you watch it, the main character is this girl who, there's a lot of like racial discrimination and segregation in this show. I think she's Japanese. She might be half Japanese. In the show, it's not called Japanese. They have like names for all the different types of people. She's called like Chu or something, I think is what they call them. But she lives on the non-Chu side, so everyone always discriminates against her, blah, blah, blah. And she finds out that she's, I think it's called like a sun singer, which is like she can control light. And there's this ancient prophecy that the person who can do that can go into this shadow realm and basically banish it. So she finds out at the beginning of the show that she has this power. And again, this is all in the trailer. I'm not spoiling anything you can't see from the trailer. And so that's just her journey to figure out how to harness her powers and yada, yada, yada. It's all right. We've watched, like I said, 3 episodes, and we'll probably keep going. It's not like, I'm not super hooked on it, but I'm also not like completely like disgusted by it. It's a pretty okay show.
It's got
the acting,
Ben Barnes in it, right?
I don't know who that is.
From
so,
Punisher?
Yes.
No, not Punisher. Yeah, Punisher, the one with the mask that they shatter his mask.
Oh, the main villain guy.
Yeah,
his
yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
Are you talking about the John Bernthal Punisher?
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't watch that.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so yes, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fine. Check out the trailer and watch it if you kind of like the vibe of the trailer. The show follows it pretty close.
Yeah, I'm curious.
What's the production value look like? How's this?
I was gonna say it's very
good.
good. It's very good. Yeah. Costumes are great. Sets are great. All the CG is really, really good. So it doesn't feel like a season 1 of a show in that sense.
Good.
So basically, it's not distracting. Like you
no, not at all. It's actually distracting in the other way, where you're like, wow, that looks really nice.
Yeah,
the acting is really good. I will say there's a lot that they throw at you very quickly. All the names of these people that are weird, and the names of these kingdoms, and the names of these types of people, and this and that, and it's just like an information dump on you very, very fast, and it's a little overwhelming. And that's probably the weakest part of the show is it's kind of almost hard to understand what's going on.
I wonder if they rely on you to have read the books.
And I feel like that's exactly what it is. Like, oh, if you read the books, it all makes sense. And it's like, okay, well, for the 85% of people who watch this who haven't read the books, maybe chill out a little bit. But it's still good. It's just there's a lot going on. Like Sam and I, after the first episode, were like, that was good, but what?
But what?
Like, what? Yeah, like it's just. Yeah. So, and everyone has accents like British or Scottish or something. And sometimes they
that's
talk
be a
and
problem for the wife.
They talk fast and you're like, I missed that, but I'm not going to rewind. So yeah, but it's not bad. We'll keep going. I think
you might need to watch with subtitles on.
Yeah.
I would probably recommend it. I just loathe subtitles, so I almost refuse to do it. But
me too. But the wife requires it. That's how I watch The Crown.
My dad requires it as well because he's got hearing aids, so it's a little tough for him. But
really, David, she has a problem with accents.
Yeah, if they're talking quickly,
that's funny.
It's tough sometimes, but it's not bad, and that's pretty much the only thing I watched this week. So I think I would recommend it if I had to say. Well,
you do have to say. That's the whole point of this fucking podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I said,
we talked about this, Alex.
Damn it!
We talked about what we watch. And do we recommend it? Damn it. I expect this from Pete, but not you.
I know. Well, he's not here, so I'm filling the void.
There you go.
That's quite the void.
I was gonna say, what a void it is.
It's like, Jesus Christ. That's not a one-man job for us.
I'll get Sam and we'll stack on top of each other.
There you go.
Yeah, man, watch the trailer. If you get good vibes from it, give it a shot. That's what I did. And it's about what I expected. Not amazing, but not terrible. And has a lot of redeeming qualities and just some confusing storylines. That's about it. So, if you're in the mood for a dark fantasy thing to fill the void before Witcher season 2 shows up, it's not a bad choice.
Yeah, when's that?
It's soon, right? They just announced the date.
Actually. Oh no, it's the end of the year.
Yes, it's near the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they just wrapped filming.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, and I think it's coming out this year, but I think it's in like November, maybe. Does that sound right?
Yeah, there was some concern that it was going to get pushed to next year, and then it ultimately didn't. So it's
not yet,
but it's late this year.
Yeah, I'm excited. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll look cool. You know, especially just I'm expecting the production. I mean, the production value is really good in the first one. I'm just imagining how much better it will be for the second.
And I think that the main complaint, even from you guys, was the
storylines,
interlapping storylines and timelines.
Yeah,
and this is all just going to be one timeline, so that'll be easier for a lot of people to digest.
Yeah, they caught it up at the end of the first season. They're just going to go kind of linear now.
So, all righty. Well, onward.
No. I actually watched some shit too. So
I thought we started with you.
We definitely
started
didn't.
with David. I'm going to derail this train. No, actually bouncing off of the show.
He's so
that Alex
confused.
just watched.
Really? Yeah, I totally thought we started with you.
He's just like, what?
So,
I think we technically started with Opie when he said, "I got nothing."
What time is it?
Yeah, that's fair. We still have 8 things to talk about.
Oh my god! We haven't even got into the fucking show. This is just like a courtesy.
Yeah. I'll try and be quick. That's what she said. I bouncing off of the show Alex watched. I started on HBO. I started The Nevers, which is the Joss Whedon got fired from show.
Did he get fired from that show?
Oh yeah. HBO said thank you. You're a fucking cancer, and you're not going to be working here anymore. Yeah. I don't know if it was done by the time they let him go, but like he got hit with all those complaints.
Yeah, I knew about those from Ray Fisher and Gal Gadot and all these people.
Yeah. And so he's still credited right now in the first couple of episodes, and it's releasing weekly. So I've only watched the first 2. And the whole plot of it is essentially some kind of, it looks like a spaceship crashes in like Victorian London. As it's crashing, you see all these like little light, like little balls of light kind of escape from it. And they give people, and it seems like mostly women, gives them special powers. They're all kind of different. And they call them the Touched, which, knowing Joss Whedon now. But yeah, zing.
Woo.
And so the first episode was a little rough. I wasn't totally sold on it, and I can't quite put my finger on why, because there's another one.
Yeah, you can't help yourself. Just like Joss.
Just like Joss. Gross. But like the production value is good. The acting's solid. It's just kind of a weird story at first, and it's kind of trying to put itself together, and then like right at the very end, it kind of fixes it, rights the ship, and then the second episode was pretty solid. But I think I would almost say the exact same thing that you said about Shadow and Bone, is watch the trailer, and if it's interesting at all, give it a shot, because I can't even do the first 3 episodes because they're doing once a week. So right now only the first 2 are out. I think it comes out on Sundays, so I think the 3rd episode will be tomorrow. So I'm curious to see how it goes, but it's been decent so far. So the first episode, like I said, was a little rough, but it gets better after that. And then the other thing that we've watched this week, I say this week, but I think it took less than 24 hours to do a rewatch of Ted Lasso.
Oh wow,
because that show is just so fucking good.
New season July, I think. July, something like 7th, maybe.
Yeah, there's honestly a really good chance that I will watch it again before the show comes out.
Bless you.
Just because it's easy to watch. It goes super fast, and it's a fucking great show.
Yeah,
it is easy to watch. We just did it too recently.
Yeah, I think if it can be that good for a couple of seasons, it will be up there with Schitt's Creek for me.
Wow.
And the only reason that it's not is because it's only 1 season. And granted, it's a great 1 season. The question is, can they keep that up, especially with like the tone of the show? It's such a different tone. Like there's like zero negativity in that show. Like you watch it and there's one guy that sucks, and that's the boss's ex-husband. And otherwise, like, even the people that sort of suck, they all have their upsides and their redeeming qualities. So
There you go.
that show is fantastic. And then finally, what I didn't talk about last week, and I will go quick because it was not good, is the New Mutants. Finally got around to watching that because it's on HBO.
Mhm.
The movie.
Yeah, and it's fucking awful.
Really?
It's horrible. It's horrible. I mean, you can just tell that, like, it had no love behind it at all, and then it got thrashed by all the changes.
Yeah.
Like, because it was going to be the New Mutants, and then all of a sudden they were like, shit, well, we're going to make it a Halloween movie because we're going to make it a little scarier. So they kind of retouched it there, and then right when they were about to release it, Disney acquired Fox, and then they like cut it out because they were like, shit, we need to try and make this fit in the MCU, which if you watch it, they obviously did not do that, because it's just fucking incoherent. It's got the girl from Queen's Gambit. It's got Arya Stark. It's got the junky looking dude from Stranger Things. It's just not good, dude. It's just like, it's bad. Like, Arya Stark's like a werewolf, kind of like. It's just so weird. It's so weird. And like, at one point you can see where they decided to make it a horror movie because just some like creepy weird shit happens, but it doesn't really fit. And it's just bad. It's all bad.
So it's the case of two, like any movie that has directors and then changes, like the original Justice League Solo. It's the same shit where it's just like disjointed.
I think it was doomed from the start anyways. I mean, it was coming off the last couple of X-Men movies that weren't very good.
This was MCU, wasn't it? I mean, this was a Marvel production.
No,
not
it was
originally.
Sony. It was Fox. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I think Disney was going to try and make it MCU, and I'm sure Kevin Feige ran through it like with a fine-tooth comb and finally just said, "Fuck it, just release it," and we're not.
We'll just pretend it doesn't happen.
Yeah, these people will never come back. None of them are welcome here. So, I mean, if you're curious, by all means, watch it. But if you didn't have an inkling to watch it before, I would say don't do it now. You
gotta start compiling these films as like a
do not do this.
Just like a grab bag. You know, it's like, all right, so something like we've all, you know, one of us has watched that's just horrible, that, you know, you don't recommend watching it, but, you know, if you want to. And so at least one of us have seen it. So if we have to do a grab bag, one of us can tell us, remind us how bad it is. Like Cats would be in there. Yeah. Which, I mean, you didn't have to see that for us to know that.
Yeah.
So
but I did.
All right.
Yes, you did. Who's a good boy?
But I did. So what is that it, Kevin?
That's it.
All right. Well then, on to Falcon and the Winter Soldier series finale. My girls were very upset that was over, but a lot to unpack with this one. I think they you know, I think they tidied it up pretty quick. I mean, it seemed like things moved along a little quicker than, almost as if like you could have seen 2 episodes out of this as far as the information and kind of digesting what was coming out. But I mean, overall, I liked it. I thought the series is good. I think as a whole, the series is pretty solid. I'm actually probably gonna go back and rewatch it just now, knowing everything, kind of really pay attention to the story and how they really open it up. Obviously, there's a global message in there, and that's not really hidden at all. But
no,
it's interesting. It makes you want to kind of learn more about some of these new characters that they've introduced and how do they play their part in the MCU, and in terms of how they relate to the their characters in the comics and stuff. But
they set up a handful.
For sure. So yeah, we can go around the horn here. Alex, what do you think of that last one?
I liked it a lot. I agree that things moved pretty quickly. Like they resolved the threat pretty early in the episode, I felt like. And then the rest of the episode was a lot of tidying up and some final character development and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty interesting because Marvel movies and shows typically the last thing you see or close to the last thing you see is the big action and the explosions and the wormholes in the sky and all this other kind of stuff. But they let this one breathe quite a bit after the threat had been neutralized. And I was almost expecting like a bamboozle, like, oh, something else is going to happen, and nothing did. And I was fine with that, but I was just like, wow, like it was not to sound like a douche, it was a brave choice, I guess, but I think it paid off. Yeah, I think that overall as a series, especially finale wise, I think that this is stronger than WandaVision. It was more consistent, and the finale I thought hit a lot better, and the show just like I'd probably rewatch this show before I rewatched WandaVision. But I liked it. I thought it was really good, and that's it for now.
Come back. Well, we'll come back to you later. David, how about you?
I would agree with everything you guys have said so far. I thought it was an excellent episode, and yeah, they rushed the end. I mean, Captain America drops in like right away.
Yeah.
No time to build anything up or anything. Like they just like throw it like boom. This is the Captain America episode.
Well, that's the one thing that I wanted to kind of remember what my reaction was at that time when he pops in. You know, the shield comes through, comes back, he flies in, and he's got the suit on.
Yeah.
My first honest reaction was like, whoa, like that looks pretty. Like that's cool. I mean, it's like that's just a bold entrance. That's just here I am. Here's what's going on, kind of thing. Which you already knew he's been practicing with the shield, so it wasn't a huge surprise. I think just the suit itself was the bigger.
Yeah, we saw him get the case at the end of the last episode, which we knew what was in there, but you just
didn't see it.
Yeah.
So
the Pulp Fiction open.
Yeah.
Light shining in the faces.
What's in the box?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw some headline or some chatter as far as how people were appreciating how close to the comic version of the suit is.
It is super accurate. Yeah.
It's almost to the point where certain parts of it look a little goofy, like his ears sticking out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's loyal to his image in the comics for sure.
Yeah.
So and they also
whoever's making helmets for this show in particular is fucking their actors. Real.
Yeah, the top part was a little rough.
Rough.
The suit itself looked good.
Looked cool, but it made Anthony Mackie, who's a very handsome man, look a little dumb.
It made his head look like a piece of celery with like bulbs sticking out of the sides.
Well, that's kind of like what the comic looks like.
I know, but translating to real life is a little rough.
Yeah,
it was made by Wakandans, so I mean, they know style.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, all of that was cool. The wrap up, all the wrap up was neat. I loved that. They pack all of the super soldiers into the truck to get them out there at the end, and the guy gives them like the code phrase, and you're thinking, fuck, them little shits are all gonna get out, and then they all blow up, and it was Zemo's butler.
Zemo's butler,
that was so cool.
That was cool.
I thought that was just like totally worth it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the Captain America movie that they, strategically announced right when this.
dropped.
So, I mean, because they've added all of these new cool characters to play with, so there's lots of room in this film.
And Julie Louis-Dreyfus character comes in, and I thought that was a great scene. I think she. I mean. I don't know anything about that character from the comics, but I imagine she is nailing it, because I don't know, just like again, like we talked about, like she could play that character. She just has to take the comedy out of it, or not lean into it. Now it's just
just take the ridiculous out. Like she can still be funny.
Yeah,
she can still have that bite. She just doesn't have to be as over the top.
I'm excited to see more of her just in general. I love her as an actress, so it's just it'll be fun to see.
Well, like Kevin was saying, hopefully we see her in Black Widow.
Yeah, I think she's in there, so that'll be cool.
That'd be cool.
I didn't see her in the casting.
I haven't either, but sometimes they keep that stuff secret. There have been movies in the past where they leave people out.
Just saw something today that said when she filmed for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like she showed up in a cloak and everything. Like they kept her, they kept her pretty well hidden.
Well, that'd be cool.
Like nobody knew she was coming. Yeah, I mean, for this finale, I think for me, watching the show, I wanted more Bucky. That was my only complaint, is that I wanted more of his story in there. The last few episodes kind of sidelined even Falcon a little bit. So it was a little it was kind of a bummer. Like his storyline was fine, like he was good and everything and all that. I just wanted a little more for him in the story, because they called it Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Quick too.
It was fast.
You know, I expected a little bit more from the confession to his old friend.
That scene could have been longer. I would have liked that scene to be longer, whether it was positive or negative or whatever. It would have just been nice to see a little more out of that, because that was I think the thing weighing the heaviest on him for the whole show. And then it just, like, he walked in, told him dude might have cried or whatever, and then he was looking at him through a window at the end, and then it was done.
I mean, it's supposed to be symbolic, because at the end, the old man's with that girl again, and he seems happier, I guess, because he knows, which I thought was a little bit of a strange narrative choice. But
he was saying in the beginning, I mean, it's been a while now, but he was saying that all he wanted was to know at this point.
Because his son was missing, as far as he knew, right? That was the other thing too. He didn't know his son was dead.
I think he knew his son. I think he knew he was dead. His heart.
Did he?
Okay. But
I thought he did.
He didn't know why or how.
He didn't know why or how.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe. But that was. It was good though. Like, and that big giant monologue that he had in there was pretty fantastic. That Anthony Mackie had in there was. It was a good, like, for today's like political climate. I mean, it was definitely a very charged speech, but it was solid. Like, it wasn't.
But it
wasn't too preachy
or America speech, right?
Yeah, it was.
I am expecting it to end up on Tucker Carlson or Lauren,
something Fox News,
on the Fox. I'm just waiting for like something, just a mention. Is this what's going to be shaping our political climate nowadays? Marvel.
And everybody will be yes.
Yeah.
Fucking superheroes are changing
from
the world.
The comic book pages to the president's desk. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm kind of sad to see that it's over already. It was enjoyable.
Felt quick.
I mean, really, all it was new Captain America's origin story, and it was just too long for a movie. So,
a
6-hour-long movie.
The transition, and then also, I mean, we didn't talk about was the we see that Agent Carter is
the power broker.
The power broker, and now I didn't know much. I didn't remember much about her. She was in Winter Soldier. Is that what she was the last time we saw her?
In Civil War.
Civil War? The first time she shows up as Winter Soldier, but she's more of a player in Civil War.
And she's basically the daughter of
niece.
Niece, yeah.
Like grand niece, even.
Yeah. Is it grand niece?
I think it might be.
It might. Yeah, it might be.
Might be. So I didn't know much about it. It's like I recognized her. I didn't really remember her character that much. So, but now we know that she's basically like a double agent in a sense.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool that they kind of set her up almost as like a faux villain near the end there. I thought that I didn't see that coming at all. So that was a nice surprise.
I think she's gonna be a villain.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, I
she
think she
like
would.
her last line was like, "Oh, I got secrets to trade," and it's almost like she's kind of setting herself up to be like Captain America was in the Hydra storyline, right? Like she's going to be embedded, and everybody's going to believe in her as a hero. They've even they've let her back into the government, and now she's going to be a dick.
It's interesting. Well, the reason I said faux villain is because it's very rare that any villain in Marvel is just a straight villain. Like they're all, a lot of them are shades of gray. And seeing that she was a hero first, I don't feel like she'll be like this super duper big bad. I feel like her conscience will pull at her, and that'll be her redemption or whatever. We'll see if they even
hope
do
it
anything.
Doesn't though. I kind of hope that I would love to see her just be fucking evil, because I think
I want to see her be evil.
And I think that old Selena Meyer there is. I think it seems like she's going to walk the line a little bit. Like there's been rumors of them doing like a Dark Avengers storyline. They've already got U.S. Agent and a few other people. So it'll be interesting to see if like they're good but shitty. They're kind of like the Suicide Squad of Marvel, but not shitty.
It's all anti-heroes.
Yeah.
I'm usually all for people just turning into villains as well, per what you guys want. The only reason with her specifically that I wouldn't want that is it's sort of like a blemish on the Carter name, and that's like the legacy of the Carters. That's the only reason I would want her to be.
I don't know. Not
I
totally.
just
feel like the fact that she's the power broker shows how fucking badass the Carters are. That she's just
that's true.
Like she hasn't even been bad that long, right? Like 5-6 years, and she's already got the whole market cornered. Like, badass.
Yeah, I mean, she proved it multiple times in this show that she's totally capable in every way.
Yeah. So, and she's not willing to she doesn't hesitate to pull the trigger, man. She will just put someone down.
Now, did Zemo he talked about the power broker a few times, but did he ever say he hadn't actually seen the power broker or hadn't met the power broker? Or does he know it's her?
I don't think
he doesn't.
I'd have to go rewatch it again, but I don't believe.
Yeah, I thought there was a line where he said he had not met her.
No, I think the only person who knew she was the power broker other than Carly was the French dude. And that's why she made sure that both died.
Yeah.
Oh, GSP?
She killed both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and then also the U.S. agent his redemption storyline.
Yeah.
I liked it. I'm looking.
Yeah, I was okay with it. I was okay with it.
I think a lot of people were looking forward to him versus Sam, and the fact that didn't happen. I wasn't disappointed that it didn't happen, but I'm surprised that it didn't happen, because at the end of the last episode, there was, I don't know if you ever ended up watching it, Opie, but there's the post-credit scenes where he's rebuilding his shield,
which ended up exactly how I thought it would.
Yeah.
Like,
fucked up immediately.
I'm thinking he's missing some of the key materials that
for
went
sure.
into the first one.
He tried his best.
But I don't know much about U.S. Agent in the comics. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy?
Pretty much
he's essentially I mean, he's a damaged good guy, basically.
Okay.
Like he's a little more morally ambiguous.
I think someone else dies in the comic. It's not his partner / best friend. I think it's like his wife or something like that gets killed. Yeah, that's what sets him off. But yeah, he is Captain America, and then that ends and he becomes U.S. agent. So the trajectory is pretty similar to what happens. And then he lives in the gray a little bit, sort of like in Marvel terms, maybe like the Punisher. Maybe not quite as brutal as the Punisher, but he's more willing to kill. Like he brings guns into fights and stuff like that. So.
Well, that's it. They got his costume right too, because even though it looks like the Cap, he's got the gun on the side, which U.S. agent always has a gun, where Cap didn't generally carry around a gun. He had the shield.
That's it. Yeah.
Even when he was Cap, his costume looked like U.S. agent. Like
it was just red, white, and blue instead of black and red and white.
Yeah.
And I think I read something too where they said specifically that his uniform initially had little to no white on it because it was white is considered a pure color, and this character was not. So that was like a strategic choice to make it less white than.
Which is why Sam is just draped in white at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm almost disappointed too at the end when they went back and talked to Isaiah Bradley that that his grandson didn't do just like one little thing super, just
show that he
one
had,
thing.
Yeah.
So he had some kind of abilities because he plays. But you know what though? I don't actually know if Patriot is a super soldier or if he's just related. He may not be powered. I don't know.
I feel like if you're a descendant of someone who has the serum, you at least have a little bit of a leg up. Just naturally, it's part of your DNA.
Yeah,
but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't manifest itself until like you're older or something.
Yeah, you go through puberty.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
But Patriot is in the Young Avengers. I mean, it's the Young Avengers, so he's around that age. I don't for it to work. He's not going to have to get. He's not going to be able to get a whole lot older.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I think some other characters from that show have already kind of showed up.
We have.
Oh, it's Speed and Wiccan from
from WandaVision.
From WandaVision, that's right.
Can you imagine getting like superpowers at the same time that you're going through puberty?
That'd be rough, dude.
Yeah, it would be horrible. Can you imagine? You find out you have super strength by ripping your dick off because you were trying to masturbate for the first time.
But if you have super strength, doesn't your dick have super strength too? Able to resist?
Yeah.
How do you figure that one out?
You would just explode a girl while you were banging the first time.
Exactly. first time you first time.
Didn't they do that in Scary Movie?
Blow a load through the window. You're all Jesus.
Or reminds me of Mallrats, which I just rewatched recently.
Oh,
this is like half of the conversation.
The conversations they have.
Mallrats.
All right. Well, so now we went from Falcon to Winter Soldier to Captain America and Winter Soldier, which I liked how they really emphasized that as well at the end there a couple times.
Yeah, the title showed up.
We get it. We get it.
Yeah.
We know.
That was cool, but why is he still Winter Soldier and why wasn't it White Wolf?
Oh, that was the one line in the movie that bothered me too. I get why they did it. It's just like the delivery of it wasn't great. It was when he showed up and they in the middle of that fight and the older black guy, and they're like, it's the Falcon. He's like, that's not Falcon. That's Captain America. And it's
yeah.
I was just like, oh,
that was rough for sure.
Yeah, something about
get
it.
A different extra.
Right. Something. It just didn't work. Like I said, I understand what they were saying. That was fine. It just didn't.
They should have had a white guy say it too.
Oh my gosh.
No, they actually that actually wouldn't have been that bad.
Yeah.
Like just to point out, like, because that was the whole thing, right? Is that Isaiah Bradley's whole conversation before was,
Yeah, no, I know.
Don't ever be a black Captain America.
Yeah.
And how I'm curious about how much time passed from that to when he brings the old guy to the museum where they have all that. It's like, how long at least for that statue to be made? I mean, that's got to be a few months, right? I mean, the
Wakandans did it.
It's 3D printed, man.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's not real gold. It's made of plastic.
It's a pop-up exhibition now. Just be there forever.
Yeah,
the Wakandans. They just put in a quick phone call. I gotta,
Yeah, Bucky's like, I said one more favor, but one more favor.
One more favor.
The Kinkos and Wakanda is just kicking this shit out. All right. The only complaint I had, the only kind of like, okay, I'll just buy into that, was just the gadget that Sam has when he is going after a helicopter, which is the most maneuverable helicopter I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, for sure.
Yes. I was like, damn. But luckily there's a lady on board that can fly it as well, so that was convenient as well, which he found out because he told his little thing, go find out if anyone can fly.
Red Wing is
Red Wing is might as well have done is just had like a little one that jumps off there, goes next to each guy's ear and go, can you fly a helicopter? Guy's like, no. Fly a helicopter? No. So that kind of stuff, I'm like, Jesus, I'm like, how do you not have this helicopter all the way down if this is the kind of technology you're dealing with? It's like, why don't you tell one of them to kill the pilot and the other one to take over the controls? I imagine you gotta have something on there that could just fly the helicopter for you.
Yeah.
Or how about you just hold underneath it and then you just fly it down?
Well, that's what's cool. So when the truck was falling, because he's not super strong.
No, he's
right.
not.
So when the truck was falling and he stopped it, that was all
jetpack
jet
and all
engines
that,
basically, and then the little Red Wings got on there and did the rest. And I thought that was kind of cool. Like he
At
can
first I
still
was
be
like-
a hero.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know that he could hold that. And then his things came off and attached really quickly and
Yeah.
started preparing. And I was like, all right, well, that's fine. Because he
It's
still
more
has to
believable.
push it with
Watching
his
that.
fucking arms, regardless of his jetpack. He's still got to do this. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
but whatever. Yeah, it's
My
Marvel.
daughter
I mean,
was like, "Who designed his suit? Tony Stark?" She's like, "I know the Wakandans did it." She's like, "But
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, their
Yeah.
technology's pretty up there too. I mean, they
Oh, yeah.
made
Yeah.
arguably
Black
better
Panther
than
suit was
Tony's.
pretty dope.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, then I guess that brings us to our franchises. So, Kevin, why don't we start with you?
He's gone.
Kevin, I know. That's why I started with him. Yeah, he has to deal with that dog or something. Something's going on over there.
Do you want to
Well,
start with him? Because he's
No,
Final
I
Destination.
definitely want to. We're finishing with them for sure. And you will go just right before him because I have a feeling. Well, American Pie, I guess last time you said was like better than we expected, or So
I have never said that.
oh, okay. Those were not my words.
He said that movie 2 was better than movie 1.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
I
Okay.
did say that. Yeah.
Not that.
All right. Well,
It was the dog. Just
Oh, yeah. Everything okay over there?
yeah, my dogs are just dicks. I don't know why they think that 2:00 in the morning is when they need to go take a shit. And my
That's
Malamute is very mouthy, so he just sits
All
by the
right.
door and bitches.
Yeah.
All right, David. Why don't we start with you? This is a good addition to the 007 franchise.
The 007 franchise.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen this movie, so
You've
I'm gonna
not
go
seen it.
refill my beverage so I don't get too many spoilers.
All right.
Wow, you ever seen Skyfall? Really?
No, Quantum of Solace scared me away from all the rest of them.
Oh, all the rest are so far has been great.
I've heard they're better. I just haven't gone back and watched them. So I'll be back in a second. I'm just gonna try to
All right.
This is
Maneuver
a
around-
good refresher for me.
maneuver
I don't
around the
remember
spoilers.
Skyfall.
Sounds good. Yeah,
as soon as you come back, I'm like, so he does die. That's right. I forgot he does die.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
I'm like, fuck. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
So yes, this one is Skyfall, directed by Sam Mendes, and it starts with a chase scene yet again, like
Yep.
every other Daniel Craig James Bond, probably every James Bond film of all
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Go right into it.
Yeah, this one has it steals the plot from various other films. So the film it steals from first is Mission Impossible, because of course the bad guy has the list of all of the undercover agents, and he is of course trying to get away, and so that's who they're chasing. And in the process of the whole thing, there's a train and things and fighting on top of the train and dodging the tunnel. And he uses at one point a big backhoe to like hold the train together and run across it. Like he's doing all kinds of crazy shit. It's all really cool to watch.
Yeah, very cool to watch.
Yeah. And then in the end, his partner shoots him, and James Bond falls off the train, off the bridge and into the river below. Where everyone presumes him dead.
And then he comes back with a metal arm.
No. That's
oh, damn it. Yeah, we're confusing.
Damn it. Son of a bitch. That would have been way cooler.
That would have been way cooler.
I think you should just mention one, the biggest spoiler of the whole thing now before Alex gets back.
What, that M dies at the end?
Yes, that M dies at the end.
All right.
That
So
just
for
sucks.
those who are not Alex, M dies at the end.
M dies at the end.
We'll discuss more about that. We'll talk around it later.
Yeah.
If Alex shows up. So then after Bond is dead, a bad guy blows up M's office, and does it so that he does it in such a way so that she'll be in a good spot to see it when it blows up. And he uses a computer to hack in to bypass some sort of security controls that allowed gas to turn on and to accumulate and then to explode, or something along those lines. And it quickly becomes apparent that this guy is out to kill M and to kind of wreck her and destroy her career and make her miserable.
Mhm.
So he's threatening to release the names of the captives or of the undercover people, which will get them killed. At this point, Bond sees that this is happening and decides to come out of being dead, where he would have been hiding on an island somewhere, probably in the Caribbean, shacking up with a beautiful woman and drinking heavily. And so he decided to come back and help out. So he presents himself to M, and off they go. And also Ray Fiennes is now in, and he is M's new boss. And he basically tells her that she's being retired and she needs to get her shit together. And in 2 months, she's out. And they didn't want to bring Bond back, but she said, "Screw you! You're kicking me out in 2 months. You can kick him out in 2 months too. Until then, I get to hire who I want to hire." So she brings Bond back. What else? They catch Javier Bardem. They find him on his own private island. He is the bad guy. You come to find out that he's a former agent that worked for M, and she had given him up in exchange for 6 prisoners from the Chinese. And now that I can see Alex is back, we'll start talking vaguely.
Yeah.
But
so that one dude
that
other dude were like totally like with that one chick we mentioned earlier.
I'll just say I liked this movie a lot, but I detested Javier Bardem. Absolutely detested him. I didn't like his character. I didn't like the way he portrayed him. I found him to be ridiculous, and he's supposed to be this like Bond level, if not better, former secret agent. It just, none of it worked for me.
Well, to be fair on that account is that anytime they usually introduce a former agent or former of the same thing as the main character, it's like how like they're usually physically they don't look like they could do the part.
Yeah.
And it's just like how former, because are we talking 20 years retired? Because it looks like you haven't ran a mile in in forever, so that kind of stuff usually. So just going into that, you kind of accept that fact. But the other side of it is Javier Bardem is like, you kind of know what you're getting. I think he played him just like Javier Bardem, just like Jeff Goldblum played his part just like Jeff Goldblum would.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't know why he would have been cast in the role. Maybe he didn't work for me. He was a miscast. We'll go with that. Then
I'm curious about this next one coming out for the same reason, with what's his face from Bohemian Rhapsody,
Rami Malek.
Yeah, so he's the main villain in this next one. And like, is it going to be? Is like you kind of know what you're going to get, but is it going to be distracting as far as like this was for you?
Who knows? We'll see. And then so the second film that they stole from is the whole big action scene at the end is just straight Home Alone, and it is it's fun. It's a great ending to the film.
Oh yeah. Especially with the whole paint cans over the banister.
That's right.
That was a
tarantula on the forehead.
Yeah, that was a complete pull. Yeah, the nails on the tar stairs.
No, but
there, Kevin?
Oh yeah.
So I've got one more after this one.
Just phased through reality there for a second.
Yeah,
your camera started shaking, and you were like,
"Oh, I think my
Spectre's your last one."
Yeah, Spectre's the last one. It's also directed by Sam Mendes. And I will say that this is the first one that really kind of didn't follow the established story of the previous two.
Yeah.
So
it's
like
kind of its own standalone.
It does its own thing. Yeah. It's not tied back to the crazy shadow government, people that the previous two films dealt with. I don't remember if they use Spectre to tie. Whoa! Just whacked my microphone to tie this one to it. I don't know if they tie.
Yeah. Have you seen Spectre before?
I have. I saw it once and I didn't care for it. I saw it in the theater when it came out, and I remember thinking that movie sucked.
Really?
But I don't have any reason to back it up at this point.
Yeah. It definitely makes reference to all the movies.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it almost seemed like it was intention to be the last one for Daniel Craig, and it would make sense just kind of like recapping, the storyline to why it all fits into this one.
Yeah.
But obviously with this next one, it isn't. So it I don't know, maybe watching them this close together might make it better.
Maybe it'll help. I don't
understand. Yeah. So
we did do a rewatch recently, coming up to like last February. We did it, and we were doing one every other week or so because the new Bond film was going to be coming out soon.
Yeah.
And pandemic hit, and then it got punted down the road. And so we never watched Spectre again. We only
watched the first three.
We stopped at Skyfall. So, so yeah, this is the second time I've seen this movie in roughly a year.
Oh, okay.
But I have not seen the next one since it came out. I think it was almost 6 years ago. I think it came out in 2015.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So yeah, I won't remember it. And I'm hoping that that I think of it more fondly than I did the first time. I don't know.
Yeah, I would hope so too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll quickly go through my movie. I have The Godfather Part 2, which I'm hoping that most people have seen. Because if you have not, you should definitely be watching The Godfather and Part 2. This is obviously it's an interesting film in the way that it's basically two storylines at the same time that take place before and after The Godfather. So it's a very you have Al Pacino playing Michael Corleone. Starts off with him in his residence. He is relocated to basically Lake Tahoe, and he has a place there. And so he starts off there as his son's birthday. He's meeting with people just like his dad did at his sister's wedding, at the start of Godfather, kind of just doing business. And you kind of see where the story's picking up for that there. And then it cuts into the Vito Corleone's origin story, which actually I think it starts with that. With him as a young boy. It's his dad's funeral, who was killed by the mafia head in Corleone, Sicily, and it just talks about how his older brother ran off to seek vengeance, and he's come to find that he's been killed by the same guy. So the mom takes Vito to him to ask him to spare his life. He's just a little 9-year-old boy, and the guy's like, no, he's going to seek vengeance and try to kill me. So she tries to kill him by holding a knife to his throat and tells Vito to run away. And then she gets blasted hard by a shotgun, which that scene alone is quite something to see. She gets blown back like 50 feet, it seems like, by a shotgun. But anyway, so cuts to Vito coming to America on boat, and you see how he gets his name, because his name was Vito, some other last name. It wasn't Corleone. They renamed him Corleone when he came to America, kind of thing, because that's where he came from. But you kind of see it grow up, and he is played by Robert De Niro, a much younger Robert De Niro, which doesn't have a lot of lines. He doesn't have to speak a lot of Italian, but it's very interesting seeing old turn of the century New York. He's coming up. He has a wife. You see the kids as they're born as babies and stuff. And so you see his storyline come and go throughout the film as you see Al Pacino's Michael Corleone storyline go across, which his character becomes extremely ruthless in this second movie, which is an interesting arc starting, which they show at the very end of the film, a scene with him before he joined the Marines with his brothers and his sister and meeting her future husband Carlo and all this kind of stuff, which could have been like a scene from the first film that they never used or something, the way it was shot. And Godfather Part 2 is obviously, it's a classic. It's very long. It's one of those things where you got to kind of pay attention though, because there's so many things going on, names, relationships, all that kind of stuff. It does actually have an intermission where a scene comes to an end and it just goes to a black screen that says intermission. So I was watching it. That's where I paused it, the first time, and then came back to it like the next day or a couple days later. I would definitely still be interested in watching it in chronological order just to see how it, if it not makes sense, but maybe it's easier to follow the story or something. I don't know. So, but that'd be long. But yeah, next is Godfather Part 3, which I'm not looking forward to. I have seen it and I remember too much of it.
If we're being fair, the Sofia Coppola stuff is not there's not a lot of it. It's really bad.
But that's to say, it's like, there's not a lot, but it's so bad that it just, but I mean, the film, again, the film itself it's unnecessary, completely unnecessary. And it really, it's your Crystal Skull for sure. So I mean, not to that extent, but in a sense, like, it's unnecessary and it wasn't good. So it's like, two things you didn't need to accomplish there. So yeah. Now on from the quality to the rest. Alex, why don't you go ahead and talk about our American Pie wedding?
Yeah.
Best one of the series? Is that what you're trying to, best one of the series?
Yeah, I'm just trying to articulate how much better it is than the rest. No, it's definitely the worst one so far. More than half the people, well, it's an odd number, but most of the people in the photo behind me did not come back for this one. So I remember somebody saying last week that they thought Part 2 was when a bunch of people didn't come back.
I thought it was, yeah.
Yeah, Part 2, everyone came back. And in this one, almost no one came back.
Okay.
And it's understandable why. It's not a good movie. There were a couple of gags that I thought were really good. They had like these 2 or 3 minute, gags that were like, oh, I'm laughing. That's cool. But ultimately, this movie is just it's a wasted time. Just a quick synopsis of the plot. Jim and Michelle are getting married. The beginning is him asking her to marry him, but she thinks that he's asking for a blowjob. So at this fancy restaurant, she goes under the table and starts giving him a BJ. And then the dad shows up and he's like, hey, you forgot the ring. And she's under there giving him a blowy while he's like, the dad sits at the table awkwardly. It's Eugene Levy. So he's just, he plays that awkward dad like perfectly. And she's just there like doing that. And it's just like, okay, so it's more of this shit. That's like the first thing I thought when I was like at the very beginning of the movie. And it is, it's just more of that shit. It's not very funny. A lot of the actors didn't come back, so it didn't even really feel like the second one felt like cool, like everyone's here. It's like a real sequel, but in this one, it just felt like really shoddy.
They didn't even have like the single cameo, like over the phone call.
No,
kind of.
So like Mina Suvari, Shannon Elizabeth, and Tara Reid are not in this movie.
Oh, wow.
And her boyfriend, whatever his name is in it.
Chris Pine or Chris something.
Yeah,
it's another Chris.
It's another Chris. He's not in it. I mean, Stifler's there, but Stifler's arguably the worst parts of these movies. So that's that. Yeah, it's not a good movie.
What about Stifler's mom?
She actually does show up, surprisingly.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, just for like a minute, but she's there. So that's a continuing running gag. And I'll admit that one, I was like, okay, cool. She's back. That's fun. I would have felt a little bit like I got robbed if she wasn't there. But
doesn't she hook up with Jim's dad?
No, maybe that's the next one. Spoilers. I don't care if that's the next one.
I don't think so. I haven't seen. I saw the first two. I haven't seen anything after.
It's the friend, whatever his name is, that she keeps hooking up with.
Shipbrick.
Yeah, they call him Shipbrick. I couldn't tell you his real name. But she keeps hooking up with him every movie, and him and Stifler hate each other, so it's this eternal rivalry, sort of a thing.
So he made it back.
Yeah, there was a really good gag where Stifler tries to pretend to be like a nice guy to hook up with a chick, and then that guy Shipwreck, who is a nice guy, pretends to be like Stifler, so they kind of switch places, and they're fighting over this girl, and that was kind of an entertaining thing throughout the movie. But it was just it's a waste of time watching this movie. It wasn't very good. It had some incredible, like all of these movies have had just some of the most fucking awkward scenes like I've ever seen in movies. It's just, they just try to kill you with embarrassment in these movies, and they're nearly successful. Like there are just times when I'm just like, "What? Get off the screen with this shit!" Like it's so weird. Like the blowjob at the very beginning, I was just like, "This is so fucking awkward." Like they just put themselves in these stupid ass situations that would never happen in real life, and they're just as.
It's exactly how I got proposed to.
Well, there you go. They're as strange as they could be, and it's just, it's old at this point. Like 3 movies in, I'm like, okay, I'm over this. Like, try something new. Reunion is my last one, thankfully, but it was made like a decade almost later or something like that. It was like 2012, and this one was 2003, I think, was American Wedding, 2003, 2004.
Oh.
So it's like a
perfect time for a reunion then.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, to be fair, it's perfect. But
to be fair.
But yeah, I'm seeing as that one will be at least relatively modern. I'm sure it'll be more of the same shit, but maybe they've learned some lessons from other comedies that have happened between this one and that last one.
I imagine most of them will be back too. I would think.
From the picture on the cover, it looks like almost everyone's back, if not everybody. Yeah. Because on this one, the cover is pretty sad. It's just like Jim and Michelle and a couple people behind them. Whereas the other ones, there's like a shit ton of people. I should have known right away going into it. I was like, oh, no one's coming back for this one.
Well, it's a realistic premise in the sense that, it's a reunion. The first one was based off of high school, so that makes sense. It's, enough actual time has gone by to where that would also make sense. So it's like there's a lot of things there that, fall into place. Now it's just, can they put a story behind it?
Yeah, to their credit, it does make sense in that way, like in actual years past. But yeah, whether or not it'll be good, I'm dreading it. It's probably going to be just more of this shit. And it's just,
where are you watching these anyway?
They're all on the Peacock app. Yeah. Although I found this one on Hulu, which was better because it didn't have commercials, so I could get through it faster. So this one specifically is on Hulu, but the other 2 I watched on Peacock, and they had commercials. That was painful. So, American Wedding. Don't watch it.
I will jump in and say that I did watch American Pie 1 week.
Why?
That was
After
the
my
question.
glowing review.
Yeah.
That was the
'Cause he
question
didn't
I
listen to
was asked
Alex.
of earlier.
Yeah,
Um,
before you showed up, I was like, "Why did you do that?"
Yeah, I was doing woodworking in my garage, and so I wanted something playing.
Is
in the
that code for masturbating?
Yeah,
You
he's
need to see
working
Shannon
the wood, all
Elizabeth?
right.
Yes,
Yeah.
You know what? If any
That's
scene
correct.
can do it, it's from the first
Yeah.
one, and it's the Shannon
Yeah.
Elizabeth scene. So good on you.
We've seen your garage. There's no place to cut some wood in there. Fuck yourself.
Yeah.
There's a couch though and a TV.
Yeah, and a
Well,
big
the
ass
couch-
screen.
The couch was moved back, but yes. Long story short, I was working. It was playing in the background. I wasn't paying super close attention because
That's good.
I've seen the film and I didn't need to. But I enjoyed it. I laughed. I thought it was fun. I thought it actually held up better than it did for Alex, probably because of some nostalgia for me.
Well, I saw it when it came out. I just
Yeah,
No,
I
he
mean,
meant
I
living
loved
a
it
life
when it
like
came
that.
out.
That was his childhood.
oh,
Yeah.
you made the pact with your friends.
Yeah.
You're like,
That's
oh,
right. Yeah,
brings back
that,
so many memories.
that was all of it. Yeah, I was shipwreck, and
The intellectual. That makes sense.
no, but I enjoyed it. It's definitely a dumb movie, and the awkward parts are. I forgot quite how awkward they are.
So
and
fucking awkward.
They really are awkward. But I am probably going to be watching the second one sometime before next week.
I'm curious if you think it's better like I do. I don't think you will, and we'll see though.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious as well.
I'm not.
Well, he's like, I won't be on that episode.
Hope he's checked out.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin. It's time
All
to
right.
Bring us home with what
Yeah.
this is Final Destination
is
5?
The final destination.
It should be the final destination for realsies this time, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure they left it open just in case they need to make another one.
The super final last
yeah.
for sure this time
Yeah.
destination.
Totally. Or
totes,
is
totes my goats.
Soon they'll go to Roman numerals instead. It'll be final destination like VII.
it? No, it
Just
should
to
be
make
Final
it-
Destination 5 ?
Right. So this one
Takes
watching
place on
it,
a bridge.
It does take place on a bridge. What gave it away? So yeah, it's around a bridge collapse. This one had 3D elements in it.
Perfect.
But they were
Luckily, you have a 3D TV. In case you didn't know,
no, I'm streaming
last
it. They
time
don't
we were
stream 3D.
a few episodes ago, Kevin made mention of his 3D TV.
Yeah.
You sure
all
did.
to the envy of the rest of us who were like,
Yes, I'm sure.
3D.
Yeah.
ooh."
Now he brings it up every episode.
I know he
Yeah.
can't help
I know.
himself.
Yeah.
This one
I'm
just
only going to
happens
watch
to be
movies in 3D from now on.
Yeah.
sure.
No,
this
this
one
one.
to do the Final Destination. Yes.
Yeah.
I know
Or
it's
3D.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, he can't wait to get Jaws for that third one.
That'd be awesome.
Back in
No,
the
so-
80s, if there's a third, there's a good chance it's going to be 3D.
If you
Because
swing
only-
tonight and get Jaws, that's just gonna be so fucking brilliant.
You know what else has a third that's 3D? Friday the 13th. The third one is a 3D.
Is it
Oh
really?
well, I
Yep.
ripped that off the wheel for you, so you're welcome.
Yeah, so it has its 3D moments, and you could tell it because I didn't watch it in 3D because I was streaming it, but like the moment when they happen, you know that those are the moments that were intended to be in 3D, just by the nature
Yeah,
of
when
what
something's
happened in the
sticking
scene.
at the camera for too long, and they
Yeah.
go away, it's like, yeah, I know that's 3D.
Or comes bouncing and takes
Yeah,
up the whole
yeah.
screen. Yeah. But so this one's around a bridge collapse, and before I start, let me say that this is the best one since the first one.
Oh,
Okay.
So it is definitely, the acting is better. The story's dumb. The story's the same story it's been every single time, essentially.
Which is what?
Um,
He can't recall.
yeah, at this point, I don't fucking know
They're
anymore.
shipwrecked. They have to have a conch.
Yeah.
Is that what this is about?
Exactly.
Okay.
But it was by far, the effects were better than it's been in the last few. Cast is better. I mean, the only one that really went on to do anything was the dude in the middle, the main guy. He was in Trial and Error with what's the
Missed
dude?
it.
It was hilarious. Actually, it's fucking hilarious. It's an NBC It was him and John Lithgow, and it was on that show. Fucking hilarious. It's over the top comedy. Anyways, but I'm talking about Final Destination. Go watch Trial and Error. It's hilarious. But the kids from that, the blonde girl that is kind of behind my head, if I can figure out how to move, she's been in other stuff, but I don't know what. And then the dude on the far side there in the leather jacket looks like Brandon Routh and Tom Cruise had a baby.
Sounds hot.
But nobody really. But Tony Todd does make another appearance finally, so that was kind of nice. Just to bring it home.
The last one. Yeah.
So anyway, so there's a bridge collapse and a bunch of people die in a bunch of gory ways, and then it snaps back and he kind of rescues everybody, right? And so the rest of the movie is
getting the visions. Who gets the visions?
The dude in the middle.
I'm assuming it's plaid shirt man.
Yeah.
And is it same thing where he just happens to be just walking around, or is he in the car on the bridge, or
no? They're on a bus. So they were on a business trip. They were going to like some business retreat, and shit goes sideways, and then everybody dies. But he gets his girlfriend to safety. His girlfriend doesn't die in the accident. He gets her out, or it's his ex-girlfriend. Like they're breaking up as the show starts.
Awkward.
And they have to go on this retreat together.
I would have just let her die.
Yeah, no. If they're breaking up, what's the problem?
Oh no,
it's a
because
win-win in my book.
He's totally in love with her.
Then why is he breaking up with her?
She's breaking up with him.
Oh, even better. Fuck her.
Yeah, definitely. Let her die.
Yeah, so. That's the scene where like he's having the vision and then snaps back and he's just like,
yeah. Instead of him being freaked out like everybody else, like, oh my God, he's like, He
should like the movie would have been fantastic if he just walked off the bus and didn't say anything to anybody. And just walks on the end of the bridge and turns
like,
around.
Stay here.
Yeah, he's all real quick. Could you sit there, please?
I need to go to the bathroom. There's no bathroom on this bus. I need to go to the bathroom.
I need to go contemplate what you just told me. Let that kind of digest. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Just sit still.
Is the girlfriend the blonde or the other one?
Yeah, the blonde. Yeah. You get to the hot one on the other side later.
The one with attitude?
The hot one.
Yeah,
she's a little bit.
She's the punk rock girl.
Yeah.
And totally. And doesn't know what size she wears.
Yeah. So
problems here.
So they have the bridge collapse, and some people that from their work don't get off the bus and they die in the bridge collapse anyways. So there's of course a funeral, and when they're at the funeral, that's when they meet Tony Todd's character, and he's
back.
Yeah. So they talk to him at the funeral, and he says
obviously blanking out earlier because he definitely already said that he came back.
Oh, yeah. It's just cool. Like I didn't pay attention either, and I watched it.
Every time he came back on screen, he's like, "Oh, he's back."
Wow. Have you talked about Tony Todd? Is he back?
Yeah,
he is.
Is he?
So dreamy.
Is he playing the same character, or is he totally different?
Always.
Okay.
Always the same character.
What else the guy who works at a morgue doing at the funerals?
At the funeral? Yeah. What a great question.
You belong indoors. We come find you. You don't just show up at funerals and start spatting out. It's like, oh, is this from one of those vision things you got? It's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah. This is where don't draw the line there. So
it's like Death always tells them, it's like, hey, guess what? Someone else fucking cheated me yet again. You might go give him a quick talking to them. You can't fucking do that shit.
It's like him and Death and Tony Todd are in the middle of a poker game. And you just see Death like, fuck, assholes.
He's like, oh, bad hands. Like, no.
Yeah.
So anyways,
last time you said it was the last time. It just fucking happened again.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm not going to be able to keep this job.
Why can't they follow the rules like everybody else? Jeez, what's with these visions?
I need them to make like a sci-fi original version of this movie where the plot's pretty much the same, but the person who like sees everything is like a superhero or something. And at the end, him and Death just like have a fist fight. Like I need that to happen. It needs to be like a Sharknado level movie.
Just ridiculous. Like
just the worst fight / best thing.
Yeah.
So hold my sickle. I'm gonna show this motherfucker what's what.
Yeah. So this one, the deaths are better than they've been in a while too. So one girl is a gymnast, and so she goes through her like she's practicing, so she goes through like the beam, and some funky shit happens there, but she doesn't die. Like they keep building suspense, like she's gonna die on this piece of equipment or this piece, and she doesn't, and then shit goes sideways when she's doing the bars, and she just gets flung off the bars, and she hits the ground and just like breaks. Like, her feet like snap over it. It's fucking brutal, and it's awesome. Like she's just broken and just laying there dead and bleeding. And of course her boyfriend that was on the bus with her is there, and he's just like, what the fuck?
Are they the only two there?
No, there's a whole meet.
It's so like a competition.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Go, Tracy, go! Holy shit.
That's literally what happens. Everybody's like, oh, fuck. And of course, Tony Todd shows up again.
Because anyone die?
Well, because
body over there.
When he was at the funeral, they didn't know who he was. He didn't identify himself. So when he came back when the girl was dead, they saw him and he's like, oh yeah, I'm a coroner. So whatever.
Again, we can bring shit to you.
I'm a coroner at the funeral.
Yeah.
And how did they die? Gone. It happened like 2 weeks ago. Where were you?
Yeah. Is it like an art exhibit where you show off your work? It's like, I did this one. This one's mine.
You should see the stitch marks that wide.
Yeah, if you open up that casket, you're gonna swear to God they're still alive. That's how good I am.
So, anyways, everybody keeps dying, and the one thing that they find out, for some reason, the twist they add to this one is that if you're marked for death and you kill someone else, it checks off your list and you're not going to die. So they set up like this kill or be killed thing, where if you take
more
somebody
interesting than the rest of them.
Yeah, it's lame, but it's
purge aspects,
right?
So how do they find that out?
They I don't even know how they find it out. Right? I don't even remember. It's just I think like Tony Todd's character actually says it to them.
Of course,
something like that. Some
real
ridiculous.
Quick. By the way, Death gave me a quick ring. And,
I got his notebook, guys.
Let's
right
make
here.
that a little more interesting.
Handyman's side job, right? Like when he's he's out fucking with people trying to convince them to kill him.
Hey, tell you what, Death said if you kill somebody else, he takes your spot. You're cool.
Yeah. So
he's like, don't mind this video camera.
Yeah. So go kill somebody, and then you can live with that.
Yeah. I think that's supposed to be what it is, but everybody's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna kill someone. So one of the dude whose girlfriend was the gymnast, he like snaps and he tries to kill the guy that had the vision. So they duke it out or whatever. And he ends up killing the guy that's his best friend. So he's clear. His girlfriend didn't die in the accident, so they're both in the clear, right? And so they get to the end of the movie and they decide that they need to go on a vacation. So they decide to go to France for their vacation, and they're getting on the plane. And as they sit down and they're getting ready on the plane, they see somebody at the front of the plane start freaking out about how the plane's going to crash and getting kicked off the plane.
Is it the first guy?
Yes, because big plot twist. This one takes place before the first one.
Oh,
and so now. But this time he can't get off the plane. These two are stuck on the plane, so they die in the plane explosion from the first one.
Crazy. Didn't see that coming.
So neat.
Was it the same scene, basically? Like, did they reshow, or was it the same actor and all that? Or same?
It happened kind of fast. I don't think it was. I don't think they got Devon Sawa back, which, I mean, he was obviously super busy at the time.
Yeah.
Based on his career. But
I don't know though, man. Drugs are expensive. You think he might want a job?
Yeah,
true.
Well, you get a lot of them in Hollywood if you know enough people.
Jobs or drugs?
Yeah. Drugs. The jobs are much harder to come by. But yeah, I mean that was it. I mean, it for as lame as it was, it really was the best one since the first one.
Okay.
And I watched the first one and the last one and none of the other ones.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch anything in between.
It doesn't sound like you have to, based on the plot on this one.
No, they're all the same. If you watch the first one, you've seen them all. But the important thing is I'm done. I don't have to do this bullshit anymore.
You get to spin.
Well, first you get to add to it.
Oh yeah. Do you have anything you want to add?
Or the Evil Dead trilogy, we talked about that last week.
Oh yeah. You know what? That should be on there. That's a good call. Evil Dead trilogy should get added because Army of Darkness is a fucking masterpiece.
I think they're all fantastic.
Yeah.
But Army of Darkness is definitely this weird concoction of brilliance.
So awesome.
All right.
Some sugar, baby.
Here. Let me I gotta turn off my screen because you can't see that shit.
If you hold it like right in front of you, we might be able to, if you don't want to bother with that.
I do this?
Yeah, that's fine.
I can see it there.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as you don't like go too far into like the
I can't read the
background.
text though. Can you guys read the text at all?
No.
No, not yet anyways.
Well, that's a brightness issue.
Nope, and there
Yeah.
it goes.
Yeah.
Oh, you want
Yeah,
to turn
I
down the
think you do
brightness
too.
then?
Yeah, turn down
Turn
the
it
brightness
up?
a bit and just hold it closer to you. And then when it, we don't really need to read it until it's done.
Oh, that did the opposite.
Oh, let me try it.
Turn down the brightness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's way better.
Oh, that's better. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Oh, and then it went away.
Yeah, just like that, right in front of you.
Turn up the volume so you can hear it.
Yeah.
All right.
Spin the
Can
wheel.
you see that? Okay. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That was a
Wait a second,
lame
hold on.
spin.
Yeah, hold on. Let me,
What was
let me go back.
that?
It went like 3. It's like tick, tick, tick.
Yeah. Can you set like the intensity of the spin?
Yeah, I was set
Oh.
up to be. See.
Can you actually rotate it
There
with
you
your
go.
finger? Maybe that was the mistake.
No, I don't know what happened, but okay.
Is this it?
No, I'm just. I
Okay.
did one real quick.
Unless it lands on something good, then it's
Don't even show us what it landed on.
Okay, well then I'll have to like.
Yeah, tap it and then spin it.
Can you see that?
No.
it's a little dark.
The suspense.
I know, right?
fantastic.
Did it?
Oh,
The Sean
Sean
Connery.
Connery.
007 Sean Connery.
It was
I
almost
am
on the-
Not
yeah,
going,
it's almost-
not going to steal this one.
Are you sure about that?
It's all you, buddy. You got
Oh,
this.
man.
How many Connery Bonds are there?
There's like 6.
Is there really?
Is that it? I thought there was more than that.
There might be more.
me.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, but it's the start of the whole thing.
Mhm.
Man, we're gonna get through all the Bonds here. The last one is just the Pierce Brosnan.
Huh.
I don't know where you're gonna find them though.
Yeah, because Timothy Dalton only did like one, right? He doesn't even have
I didn't even
like
put
a
that one.
series
Timothy
of
Dalton
films.
did 2.
Timothy
think
Dalton
for-
did 2.
I think our
Connery
rule is you have
did
to have
6.
You have to have at least 3.
Yeah. Connery did
So
6,
you-
and George Lazenby did 1 in the middle. Or
Oh,
one
maybe
near the
George
end.
Lazenby is the one I'm thinking about that did 1. I was like, I know one of them just did 1.
Yeah.
Okay, you got Doctor No, which is the
From
first
Russia with
one.
Love,
Yeah,
Goldfinger,
Goldfinger,
Thunderball.
Thunderball, Diamonds Are Forever.
and You Only Live Twice.
Excuse me.
Yeah. So. Yep. You know what it says right underneath that is that James Bond actor Sean Connery, age 90, dies. This is October 2020. So from a few
Yeah.
episodes ago, or the last one,
He
it's confirmed just here on this Google page, and it just
I
random.
was so confused when I was like, he's dead. And he's like, nope.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
no. Pete,
what?
That's so on brand for Pete to have something so simple so wrong, and to do it more than
That
once.
was hilarious. That was
More
fucking
than once
awesome.
is the best part.
It was
Yeah.
every single one almost. I think there was one of them that was correct, and almost
Yes.
all of them otherwise
Yeah.
were.
Yeah.
For something
Dude.
so simple. I mean, it's not even like it's like, oh, I got the year wrong, or I got the day wrong. No.
Oh, he's alive in 1996.
yeah.
Yeah.
What year do you
When
think it
he's
is right
filming
now?
The
Because-
Rock.
Yeah. He died. All right. Well,
No.
guys, go ahead. I mean, go. This is where I just kind of catch a few winks as you guys talk about the latest release, which also came out last night, of HBO Max's Mortal Kombat, another movie based off the video game. I played this game back in the day when it came out. I was more of a Street Fighter guy. I didn't really play Mortal Kombat that much. I'd more watch people play it. But I saw the original movie. That was enough for me. So whoever wants to start it, by all means, your guys' thought on Mortal Kombat.
I thought it was very pretty, like visually, like the sets and stuff, especially in the opening scene, really solid. And the fight, like the kung fu, and it was pretty dope. Like the fighting in it was pretty solid.
I would hope so.
The story was Godzilla level, like garbage story, like the people.
Thank God.
Don't
like
say
it was
that.
just.
Don't say that. That's just
was
not nice.
This was way worse.
Oh wow, that is saying something. I don't know if you can. Other than,
don't know if
are the actors literally like looking off screen asking line? They like kept it in the film.
It might have made it more interesting.
They don't have any lines they really need to memorize.
They're calling them. They're accidentally calling each other by their real names.
That wouldn't surprise me in this. So
I'll say I went into this with like almost no expectations.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I sit down, whatever. I can't convince anyone in my family to watch it with me. I'm gonna fly.
I respect every member of your family.
So I sit down, and I gotta say, about half an hour in, and I was into the movie. I was really enjoying it. I was like, "This is so good." And then you get to the point where they all end up at Raiden's temple. And it's just a steady slide down into a shithole from there.
That's true.
And I think what made it worse was I really enjoyed the first 30 minutes. And I was really excited for where they were going to take us. And then they just decided to not go anywhere.
Yeah, the opening scene was fantastic, actually.
I was going to say,
really
I
liked the opening.
Similar trajectory about the opening scene specifically being an amazing setup for the movie.
Yeah.
But that was after that, like it didn't take 30 minutes for me. I was like, as soon as you see that Cole Walker guy and he starts saying his lines and acting, I was like, oh no.
He was just unlikable. You just didn't care about him at all. And then he had the lamest like superpower or whatever they call their.
I don't understand.
He got a cooler T-shirt.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And he got batons.
Why they need to make an original character in a game series that has, and this is not an exaggeration, nearly 100 characters. There are 97 canon Mortal Kombat characters. And they had to make this fucking douchebag, boring man 5000 or whatever, be like the star of this movie.
That's a weird name.
It might as well be his fucking name.
It's a birth name.
I'm boring man 5000. It's
a family name. It's a family name.
Yeah. And they set it up in such a way that you have high hopes for him, right? Because he's a direct descendant of the guy who becomes
from the beginning. Yeah.
Right? Hanzo Hasashi. Yeah.
Right. And you're just like, okay, that dude was dope. So you keep expecting him to like live up to his dope lineage, which he never does.
Never ever.
And then his like great grandfather or however many removed comes back from hell at the end and is the coolest fucking part of the entire damn movie.
Yeah.
And
the bookends were decent.
And it just shows how like bad his like descendant was and how like watered down the bloodline.
Yeah, how lame he was.
Useless. The most like, oh man. The most offensive thing, there's a lot of offensive things about this movie. The most offensive thing about this, though, is that like the idea of Mortal Kombat, both from the games and the movies that have come before it, is that different realms, so multiverses essentially, come together and have a grand tournament. and they talk about that tournament the entire movie and never fucking
never see
do
it.
a tournament. And I'm
No,
just
they
like,
throw it out
that's the
and they-
game. That is the game. That's the whole
Yeah.
fucking point. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, it's so stupid.
They threw it out and decided to be Street Fighter instead.
Oh, they were
Well,
just
yeah,
like,
because the whole plot of the movie is that the bad guys are trying to cheat. They're trying to kill our side before
Which-
we can.
ironically, they've done every time before that, because Shang Tsung straight up admits it. He's like, we've never won by playing fair. So it's like, so you've cheated every time, and no one's ever said anything about this or done anything about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and then they're
Oh.
like, "Oh, Raiden can't know because then we'll be in big trouble." And then Raiden knows, and it just
And
goes the
does
same way.
nothing.
nothing happens. He's like,
All he
I
does is
can't
build his little
interfere.
magical bubble so they can
Yeah. Everything.
practice.
Oh, the plot in this one hurt. It hurt.
But it could have been good. Like it
The setup was good.
had they gotten once they got to like even with Lamo McNew guy, once they got to Raiden's temple, had he trained them up and then they moved into some sort of tournament setup,
Yeah.
the film would have worked.
Or if they turned him into someone from the canon. Like, there's so many characters in Mortal Kombat that have masks and helmets and whatever else. And if he became someone legit, I'd be like, cool. Like, you know, but oh man, he ruined the fucking, like, there was a lot of things, but him specifically, I couldn't stand the fact that he beat Goro, first of all. Like, what the
Right.
fuck?
The Goro
But-
fight was a total throwaway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
I'm
garbage. Plus,
I'm like, this is Goro.
Goro didn't look that good for the age of special effects that were in and the special effects in the movie. I thought they kind of
I think he
missed the mark
looked-
on that.
He looked okay in certain scenes, and then there were a couple where he really stood out and looked pretty bad. But I thought he was overall all right. He wasn't as good as some of the other stuff. Like Sub-Zero's ice, like all the CG around that looked really fantastic.
Yeah.
That was like the whole budget of the movie.
Well, he's who they really were focusing on. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
even in the trailers and everything.
Goro didn't even get anything other than
No.
they address him as Prince Goro. Like
Yeah.
that is the entirety of his backstory.
Yeah.
Like you
They-
get nothing.
They really, not that this matters too much because the canon is kind of ridiculous anyway, but they messed with the canon like so much that it got confusing. Even for, I'm not a hardcore Mortal Kombat guy. I've played some of the games. I own a couple of them. I know the general idea of what's going on, and just the things that they did and the choices they made. I was like, this is like confusing.
Is there a storyline in the video game? I thought it was
Yeah.
a fighting game.
No, I mean, since the first one, that's the idea, is that there are fighters from Earth or Earth Realm, and then fighters from other realm, which like there's a tournament that happens every, I can't remember, it's like every 100 years or every decade or something. And the Earth or the other world people have, or Outworld, I can't remember the fucking name of it at this
I think
point.
it's Outworld. Yeah, I think it's Outworld.
Outworld might be. They've won 9 out of 10 tournaments, and if they win 10, they get dominion over Earth Realm essentially. So they will enslave everyone and ruin everything, yada yada yada. So the whole point of the game is for Earth's defenders to fight against Outworld's defenders and save our reality essentially. Like that's the backstory. And the original movie in 95 followed that. Like it
Mhm.
played an integral part in the plot of that movie for as much of one of those as there was.
It's
But the
probably
plot in that
why
movie was way better
works
than the plot in this one.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree that the plot in the old one was better.
But the bummer was I actually kind of liked Raiden appearance wise, and some of the things
Everyone
about Raiden.
looked great
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a lot of potential. I think it'll get a sequel.
It will.
For as bad as it was, I think they'll make another one.
Oh yeah.
Because I
don't
think
know.
it'll
We'll
still
have to
do
see.
well.
We'll have to see if it does well. I mean, I
Yeah.
know a lot of people who were really kind of on the fence about it. And, you know, usually I would sit around and wait, but this one was on HBO. Like, I didn't even
Right.
have to pay for it, right?
I feel like, oh, go ahead.
I was just say, I had hoped beyond hope that it was going to be good because I wanted to go see it in the theater on Tuesday for $5, right? I was going to give them my $5, go see it again in the theater, but there's no way I'm going to watch this again, let
No.
alone pay money to do it.
Yeah, I said the same thing about Godzilla.
But then you did it because it's a good
Then you
movie.
did it.
Because that was only $5.
I feel like this will do well simply because of the residual viewers from people who subscribe to HBO Max for Godzilla and Snyder Cut. Like they all still have it, and they'll probably just watch it because they're like, "Well, I have it," and then that alone will kind of push them over the edge.
We'll all have it.
Well, I mean,
yeah, I think the
Gotta
numbers
watch
will be
something.
pumped up from because of the time that it came out.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too.
It feels like that they want to do a tournament, but they just didn't want to put it in this film. That they want to save it.
And that's what it feels
really
like.
Build up to it. And at this point, I told everyone, I was like, I'm sure they're going to make a sequel. It's very clear that that's what they were leading towards. But they're not. Even if it's free, I probably won't watch it. Not after this one.
I'll watch it if it's free.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
if
I'll
it's
watch
on
the next.
HBO,
If it's
I'll watch it.
HBO, I'll watch the next one.
I don't know, man, and I'm sure. I don't know if anyone else has seen it, but like the raid spoiled me, man.
No,
The fights were not impressive. Like as much as they were impressive to a degree, I hold everything to that standard at this point, and it did not come close. Like,
No, I think the coolest moment was when dude killed the other guy with his fire dragon. Like that was dope.
Or the Kung Lao using his razor hat against that chick, and like, because
like
that's
splitting her
straight
right down the middle.
That's straight from the game. That was something that I really appreciated. Is the fatalities
they
are literally cutscenes from the games. I'm just like,
Mhm.
that's cool. But
I made the joke that as soon as a character used their fatality, they were fair game to die.
yeah,
Like because
Yes.
like they had blown their wad, right? Like that you're useful for one thing, to show off your fatality, at which point you're no longer of interest.
Yeah.
You're out of here. And that's kind of how they treated him.
yeah, it is.
Like, because as soon as his little razor hat went off, like, fucker's done.
Yeah, I'm surprised they actually killed as many characters as they did in this movie.
Yeah.
Not that anyone's ever really dead in Mortal Kombat. They all come back. But even at the end, Shang Tsung was like, oh, you defeated my fighters, but blah, blah, blah. Everything is in
and they all just
motion.
kinda
And then
turned to smoke or whatever.
the smoke started like,
own realm.
yeah. The smoke kind of took them away from wherever they were. And I was like, okay, so they're all coming back.
Well, it's pretty obvious also, because fucking Scorpion Hanzo had been dead for 10 generations or how long. He pops out.
Yeah, it was 1600 or something. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the 1600s, I believe, when that first scene took place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that first scene gave me such hope.
Yeah.
Like, it was good. And that actor's really good. Like, he always plays that really stern, badass Japanese guy, like in every movie.
Yeah, I love him.
Because he just does it so well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm here for it. Like, and I don't know, man. Like, the bookends were all right. The beginning was good. The Sub-Zero versus Scorpion fight was pretty good. Unfortunately, they showed most of the cool parts in the trailer.
Mhm.
So
That's
there
true.
was very few bits that were beyond that I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, and New Guy spent the entire time punching ice and getting nowhere.
Which I don't
understand.
How is his family not dead? Like, I don't understand how they're alive after that. In the beginning of the movie, it literally shows Bihan murder the wife and child of Scorpion because he's trying to remove the lineage of his family. So why would he do it now when he's arguably an even worse person than he was back then? I'm just like, what?
Why use him as bait? Why not just kill him?
Yeah, I mean, your goal is to kill them anyway, so you might as well get it over with.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It was messy as fuck.
For a movie that didn't need a lot of plot, like really, they chose the worst one they could come up with.
Oh yeah.
It really was bad.
Because the plot really should have been, you have that mark, I have that mark. Let's go to this tournament. Let's fight in the tournament for 90 minutes, and then we'll call it a day. Like,
that would have been fine.
Yeah, that's the plot. That's
I
all
think
they need
that's
to
all
do.
anyone wanted, and they overcomplicated shit.
They really did.
And then they had one job, and it's like what Alex said, one job to do the tournament, and then they didn't do it. And for me, that's when they made it clear that wasn't going to happen, is when the film turned for me.
Yeah.
And that happened at Raiden's temple when they tried to like, oh, we're really just gonna pin you down here.
Well, yeah, because then you have a 45-minute training montage.
Oh yeah.
Basically, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, I will say Kano was fucking marvelous.
Yes.
I loved everything he did in that movie.
That's been pretty much everyone I've talked to's response is that Kano is the best part of the film.
He's so good. Like he channels the game character really well, but adds like his own twist. And like all the pop culture references he made, they were all just so fucking spot on and perfect. And there were a lot of fun Easter eggs, like when he's training with Liu Kang and Liu Kang keeps doing like the leg sweep. Like that's a thing people do
like 4 times in a row.
That's what people do in the game. They trap you in the corner and they just leg sweep you until you die. And like the fact that he did that, I was like, okay, like the people who made this movie know the game. And that makes it even worse that they fucked it up so bad. Because you can tell they know the game, like with all the stuff they put in there. But like, get rid of Cole. Like he doesn't need to exist.
Yeah.
That could have been Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, Kung Lao. Like it could have been anybody else, and it would have been 10
Well,
times
they
better.
clearly wanted to set up Johnny Cage as the
For
big
part 2.
for the next film.
Yeah.
I mean, they made that abundantly fucking clear.
Yeah. I'm just like, I hope if they make a next one, I hope they kill Cole Walker immediately. I hope the first scene of the movie is Goro being resurrected and then going through a portal and being like payback time and ripping him in half. And then that's the start of the movie. Like,
and starting at his legs because that's not where his super armor is. Like grabbing his legs and wishboning him.
I like that his power manifested by him just getting his ass beat. Like that was his thing. Like it was just, oh, you can take punishment well. So Goro, a man who's 4 times your size, is going to hit you a lot to the point where you should be dead, but because movie, you're not. And then magically you'll get super armor. And it's just like, ugh.
And then your armor will light up.
His super armor had been like the Black Panther armor, where it built up kinetic charge and then like discharged it back.
It kind of did, like when it turned orange, and then he was able to when he punched him, he did the uppercut, and it came out a little bit. Like it was kind of like that. It just wasn't.
Not like it would have been way cooler if he could have shot or had some sort of something. Basically all it let him do was punch a little bit harder with his little
and then that was Sonya Blade.
Sticks.
Like Sonya Blade did no training. She got her mark, and then she shows up and she can shoot fucking laser beams out of her hand. Yeah. You're like, wait, everybody else had to train. But hers was just like pew pew.
He's like, I had to kill fucking Kano. I don't need to train.
Yeah.
But is that I didn't play the video game hardly at all. Did Sonya Blade really like fire little rings off of her like bracelets?
Originally it was they don't explain it, but I think in the newer games it's like tech. Like she has like these bracelets that are like laser guns basically, and she shoots shit out of them. Because then they try their best to make it a little bit more grounded in the newer games. So she has a lot of gadgets like guns and bombs, and her wrist things are like laser shooters essentially. So they kind of give it a little bit more.
It'd just be cool if she'd flung a shit ton of knives or something. I mean, she's Sonya Blade.
Blade, yeah.
And that was her thing in the rest of the game. It was knives, and then all of a sudden she shoots bracelets.
Yep. So 10 out of 10.
Yeah, Opie definitely watch.
Yeah, check it out, man.
Twice.
On a rainy day. There is one thing I will say about this movie. I could see myself watching it one day if I'm super bored. Like just super, super bored. And I'm just like on HBO and it's there. I'd be like, if there's nothing else, like I'd keep scrolling for a while, but I might come back to it.
There are so many other things I would watch before this. I would go dig out The Raid and watch that before.
Well, obviously if The Raid is accessible, that's going way before this fucking movie. But I'm just saying, like, there are some days where it's just like you see something and you're like, all right, like what you did with American Pie. Like you just said, okay, sure, in the background. Because some of the fights and some of the fatalities were cool, but that's about it.
Yeah, and Kano, like everyone says,
Kano.
Everything Kano did was entertaining.
Yeah, no Harry Potter shit.
Yeah. But Kano's not a good guy, right? He's
not.
He's a villain.
He is.
They needed to have a likable good guy. And the best we had for that was Sonya, and she was only likable to a point.
Yeah, they didn't develop any of their heroes at
No.
all.
Yeah, oh yeah, there was almost no character development in this movie at all.
Like
Some
Jack
of them
was
just
out
show
there
up.
would be some, but then they tore his arms off, and then he was like, "I'm sad man with no arms," and then, oh, now I'm sad man with little
Metal
robot
Yeah.
arms that don't work for shit, and then he gets.
And then when he needed to be strong enough to lift the rock, that's when he got cool muscle robot arms.
He got
Badass.
Winter Soldier arms,
grew his own Winter Soldier arms.
which
What would
makes
powers had Sub-Zero not taken his arms? Was he always going to get metal arms?
right.
Right. Like what if Sub-Zero had like lopped his dick off? Would he have had like Robocock?
Robo dick, dude. That would have made the movie way more interesting.
That was brutal though when he did the arm thing. Not even so much the arm thing, but the scene right after where he kicks him down the building and you just see him hit the fucking like balcony and bounce off. I was like, oh god, like that was rough. Like
that dude taking a beating. That scene was also actually pretty good. Like he acted the part actually fairly well. Like for a guy that was getting, beat up the way that he was, like his facial expressions, his acting in that scene was pretty decent.
Yeah, I thought Jax was pretty okay. He, again, like anyone else, there wasn't enough for us to care enough about him. Like, but for what he had, I was like, yeah, he's fine. Him and Sonya were fine. Liu Kang and Kung Lao were like absolutely wasted. They're two of the most important characters in Mortal Kombat lore, and they were absolutely both fucking wasted.
Yeah.
Though I will say that guy who played Liu Kang fucking shredded beyond belief.
Shredded.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
He's like a small Henry Cavill. I was like, good Lord. Like, guy's ridiculous.
Yeah. When he went back to fight and he flexed and you're just like, Jesus fuck, dude.
Yeah, his muscles had muscles, which had muscles.
Yeah, like, dude, I was like, there's not an ounce of fat on this man.
Yeah, he's 0% body fat.
Yeah. But we should end it there talking about man muscles.
Yeah. I need to go. You said HC. I got to get out of here.
Yeah. I need to walk the dog.
We talked about robot dick and muscly men.
And go do some woodworking real quick. Yeah. Woodworking. All righty. Well, I'm glad I missed it.
No,
sounds like I was right
I think
on.
you should watch it. You might have a different opinion.
No,
that's true. Sure. You might.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what you guys fucking watched, but I watched a goddamn masterpiece.
I can't even imagine that.
He's like that came out in '95, right? He watched the old one.
Well, I will also say, which we haven't covered, the music in this movie was trash.
Compared, especially
so bad.
It really was.
It was like really, generic superhero movie score. It was terrible. It like crescendoed in weird places. It was like noticeably bad. Not like
why
it didn't make an impression. It made a bad impression.
I agree.
Can we get through one episode without talking about the fucking Snyder cut?
Well, apparently not, since you just brought it up.
I mean, we all know the music was all over the goddamn place. You got these women coming out of nowhere singing them hymn.
Yeah,
we got it.
When they close off the temple and those Netherlands chicks show up and start singing to everybody, it's really weird.
All right, well,
I know how we can get them to take this barrier down. Icelandic women.
Sing.
Like, get us out of here.
All right, so next week, is there anything this week that's coming out that's gonna be?
The Oscars happen tomorrow.
Yeah, that's tomorrow night.
By the time this airs, like it will
be out
already.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe we talk about that, although I don't know that that's going to take too terribly long.
Unless something, something
shocking happens,
worth talking about. I know this one they're encouraging. They're going to allow them to. Their acceptance speeches are going to be a little longer, and they're encouraging people to share, like, I don't know, personal stories or anecdotes or what have you. So we'll see.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, I know I'll be definitely watching it, but
Oh yeah, I'll watch.
So
I'm not going to.
What? No, I thought for sure, Alex. I thought you would also DVR it just so in case you can watch.
Alex is gonna go sit out there and watch the Kodak Theater and
he's all I turn it off after the red carpet.
Yeah, I just want to know what they're wearing.
I just want to see the dresses.
I just want to see who they talk to. All righty. Well, if you're still listening, thank you so much for downloading and supporting the show. Next week we'll be back, I guess. Don't know what we'll talk about yet. Maybe I'll be able to spin the wheel.
Maybe we'll have Peter.
I should be able to, and so should David. Actually,
yeah.
If does their thing. Have a lot of wheel spins.
Pete has a lot. He's going to be a few weeks, I think, on his Predators because he's got I think 4 left.
Yeah, it takes him forever to watch one.
Yeah, well, he keeps watching other bullshit for some reason. So all right.
It might be a new Law and Order show premiering.
Yeah, a new one
with old characters and
yeah. No, it's on the background. I'm like, working around it. I don't really watch it. It's just like it's on. It's on. It's period. It's on. And it's not Breaking Bad or Avatar. No. All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to y'all next week. I guess that's the end of the show.
It sure
I think in this week's video cut, I'll actually put that whole dead air in there, so you can see that uncomfortable waiting for the show.
It's like,
so it can also match the audio recording.
Yeah.
I've noticed
a really long dead air.
Sometimes it's like after the music stops. Like one week it was like the music stopped and then there was 15 minutes of nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, maybe there's more stuff.
Nope.
He's doing like a secret track at the end.
That's Pete's wonderful editing job.
Yeah, I was like, is this a Korn album from 1998? Like,
yeah, same thing during the Jeopardy game beforehand. Like we were doing technical difficulty shit. And like
we did that thing. That whole section was supposed to be cut out.
Yeah, because we're back after we've been back for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I remember listening to that going, we redid this. Why is this in here?
Yeah.
Comedy gold.
Yeah, because Pete doesn't have time to edit the show.
Well,
this will be in there. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
This will be at the
end.
Yeah. Unbeknownst to Pete.